Hey everybody, how's it going? I am your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Petaluma, California, here in Studio MC2 at Quicksurf Internet Studios. The Geekinator is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Do feel free to head on over to techpodcast.com and check out all the other technology-related shows over there as well. I'd like to encourage everybody to visit us online over at quicksurf.com. Please do subscribe to the show if you have not already done so. And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you for supporting the show. And with that, let's go ahead and get into some of the cool stuff that we've got for this episode. Starting off over at CNET or news.com, Samsung has debuted the world's first curved display smartphone. So it is called the Galaxy Round. It's a flexible smartphone with an HD Super AMO LED display that is said to curve to the contours of a person's face. Pretty interesting. They're the first phone manufacturer to launch a flexible smartphone. Basically, it was announced late Tuesday evening. It incorporates the latest in flexible screen technology along with other unique features. It resembles a Galaxy S4, but it has a slight dip in the middle that causes the phone to curve along a vertical axis. It's plastic, so it doesn't exactly flex or bend, but rather curves to the contours of the face. So basically, it looks like it's curved, not quite that severe if you're watching the video, but it's got a curve. So when you hold it, it curves to your face. It's a 5.7 inch HD Super AMO LED display. It's 7.9 millimeters thick and weighs 154 grams. So basically, it's a giant phablet, which makes sense that they would make it slightly curved because at that point, it's getting large enough to where if you feel like you're holding a plate against the side of your head. So should be pretty interesting. From Bloomberg.com, Amazon has won a ruling for a $600 million CIA cloud contract. We talked about this before. Amazon defeated the IBM effort to reopen bidding for a $600 million CIA cloud computing contract. Judge Thomas Wheeler of the U.S. Court of Federal Claims in Washington granted Amazon's request for judgment on the administrative record following a hearing yesterday, according to a minute order posted on the court's electronic docket. A written opinion will follow, according to the order. So basically what happened is Amazon was originally awarded this contract, and then IBM swooped in and tried to take it away from them, and Amazon ended up having to sue, saying we want it fair and square, and so this upholds the original decision to go with Amazon for that contract. From The Verge, Apple is going to host an iPad event on October 22nd, according to All Things D. Now, we've been expecting an Apple event in October. Obviously, in the last event that they did in September, they unveiled new iPhones with iOS 7. The expectation now is a month later, they're going to do the rest of their iOS devices, which is new iPads. One event is kind of too much to release during one event, and so they're kind of staging it out where they're all going to be available for the holiday season, but they're kind of spreading it out a little bit, which is smart. So new iPads, basically I'd expect their flagship iPad to continue to have a Retina display, maybe a larger version, a 13-inch version. I definitely expect to see the same processor, even maybe an awesomer processor than what's in the 5S in the new flagship iPad. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with an iPad that's a larger display, like a 13-inch display, so it would be more like a laptop, a mobile laptop replacement, like a MacBook Air replacement, with a nice meaty 64-bit quad core processor that's got like 8 gigs of RAM or something on it. It'd be pretty cool if they did that. I'd totally expect in the flagship iPad to see the fingerprint scanner, upgraded internals, maybe a new form factor. What I'd really love to see is iPads come out in the same form factor as what their phones come out with. So the phones and the iPad form factors match, and the only difference is the size. Be pretty neat, because that's one of my complaints uh, about the iPad is, when you look at it, it would be great if, because they're all iOS, so it would be great if they had the same form factor between all of them. So should be interesting to see. I'd expect them to follow the same color scheme as they have on the 5S, where you can get a space gray, silver, and a champagne or a gold colored iPad. 1 minute. Excuse me. So there's already kind of reports of that showing up. So it would be pretty neat if they did come out with, basically a larger version of that. So an updated iPad mini, potentially with a Retina display. I'd expect it to have a faster processor, maybe the same processor that's in the iPhone 5C. Not necessarily for the mini, the same processor that's in the 5S, but definitely an update from what's in the mini now. The Retina iPad, I would expect to probably stay the same form factor. And really that just, basically what it boils down to is, updated internals, potentially the same processor as what's in the 5S, fingerprint scanner, that sort of thing, longer battery life, or a better processor. And then I would expect, or I would hope to see, potentially, if Apple knows what they're doing, is a replacement mobile notebook iPad with a larger screen, like a 13-inch screen or a 13.3-inch screen. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Retina display, but it does need to be higher resolution than 1024 by 768. It'd be cool if it were 2048 by 1536, but not really holding my breath about that. That would be awesome if they came out with an iPad for that type of display, and gave it enough, battery life and enough meat and enough juice. If they could get it this thickness with a 13-inch display, they could fit a lot of battery in that thing. You could easily have all-day battery usage, LTE in there, more LTE bands, make it basically a world device, make that, a lot of people can get by with that as their primary computing device. So anyway, there's lots of options. I'm curious to see what they're going to do about, with this. So it should be pretty cool. But yeah, there's always been an expectation that sometime in October, Apple will have an iPad event. From Gizmodo, meet Nest's Protect. It's a smart smoke detector that's actually exciting. So Nest thermostats, kind of took off. They've been really popular. Well, that same company is releasing what they call a Protect, and it's a smoke/carbon monoxide detector, although it's a smart one. So kind of cool. Also, it's potentially going to be designed to work with the Nest. So if it does detect carbon monoxide, since the vast majority of carbon monoxide in the house is from the heater, it'll do things like shut the heat off so it doesn't, so you don't die. It'll give you the opportunity to wave away a smoke detector or a smoke alarm. So let's say, for example, you accidentally just smoked some toast. Instead of blasting off the smoke alarm, it'll just say, "Hey, I'm detecting smoke. If this was a mistake or whatever, you can wave me away." Now, obviously, if the smoke continues to get thicker and worse, it goes into a full-on, there's a fire happening, but you're aware of it, and it's at least communicating to you. I think it's kind of cool. If you have multiple protects in your house, they can all communicate with each other, so they all go off at the same time in every room. So should be pretty cool. It's got Wi-Fi in it. It'd be neat if they had a whole bunch of sensors in there, like if they put temperature and humidity sensor and all that other stuff, and all that could also talk to the Nest. That would be pretty cool. And then what I'd love to ultimately see is they come up with a set of registers. So your AC registers or your heat registers, come up with some registers that control airflow, that also talk to the Nest or protects. And so if a room, so that way, if you have one of these in every room, uh, the house knows what rooms need more air and what rooms need less air, having these sensors in every room. And so then as a result, they kind of close down the vent in the rooms that don't need as much air and open up the vents in the rooms that need more air. And that way it allows them to equalize the temperature in all the rooms. That would be cool, because then you start getting into zoning where you can say, well, you know, now I can start to have profiles where, at night, this half of the house, you can pretty much just close the vents off and open these vents up wide open. And that way I'm only cooling or heating parts of the house depending on, what rooms are occupied at what times during the day. And if it comes with a motion sensor, you can also then start to log, roughly what rooms are occupied during what. Humans are, humans are creatures of habit. So, it is in fact possible to monitor what rooms are occupied, generally what times during the day, and have those rooms at the temperatures that you prefer at those times of day, and basically just become a lot more intelligent and a lot more efficient about where you're spending your energy to cool or heat what rooms. So should be pretty interesting. I'm curious to see ultimately where this goes. It looks like they've kind of got a pretty good idea of, home automation type stuff, make it, real easy. That, that's basically it. Just like, look, if you can get one of these in every room and they can all talk to each other and they can all, get the temperature in each of the rooms and all that other stuff, and they have motion sensors so they know approximately when those rooms are occupied, you know, you can start to apply a little bit of intelligence and really start becoming more intelligent about where and when you spend energy to cool or heat a structure. Okay, enough of that. So from makesign.com, there's a Lego Adventure Time BMO, and it features a Raspberry Pi. It's a spot-on recreation of Adventure Time's BMO character. It's the work of Michael Thomas. It's basically a Raspberry Pi Model B running a 2.5-inch TFT display. Obviously, it cannot make toast or skateboard like the real BMO, but it's the enclosure is made out of Lego bricks. It looks pretty cool. Definitely check it out if that's something you want to recreate yourself. From Hack-A-Day, homemade CNC reuses printer parts. Do-it-yourself CNC machines can be never-ending projects. Once you get one machine done, you want another. So basically, the Maker 2 is a successor to the Maker 1, and he's basically reusing parts from printers to make this. It's kind of cool. They don't really have a YouTube video, but there's some pictures. Definitely check it out if you're looking to do your own homemade CNC machine. Basically it's a movable head that's got a Dremel attached to it, and you have, there's a fair amount of calibration you have to do to get it to work, but still pretty neat. From Gizmodo, this is kind of an older story that I've been holding on to, but I figured I'd bring it up now because it's pretty cool. It's entitled 36 Gigapixel Image Captures Ancient Petroglyphs in Texas. The work of photographer Mark Willis combines advanced imaging and fabrication technologies with archaeological exploration, often producing breathtaking images, 3D models, and highly accurate virtual environments from ancient sites in the U.S. Southwest. His blog, sadly not updated since 2011, includes references to polynomial texture mapping for reconstructing abandoned villages. There's an exhaustive step-by-step guide for using point clouds and landscape models, a how-to guide for making 3D printed replicas of ancient artifacts, and even using structure from motion analysis for measuring the deterioration of rock art over time. He's got some pretty awesome pictures, and basically, a giant pole that he goes and has a fairly high resolution camera that's, 20 or so feet above the ground, and he basically just takes a bunch of pictures, in succession, and then there's some software that stitches it all together. Pretty neat. Definitely check it out. That will do it for this edition of the Geekinator. As always, everything we've talked about is linked up in the show notes. You can check those out online over at quicksurf.com. Please do subscribe to the show if you have not already done so. And with that, I will see all of you on the next episode. I'll see you then. Bye.